Hello, everyone, and praise the Lord. As you know, my name is Greta Ganeva, a lawyer by education and an attorney by profession. And I have the honor to speak on the matter of integrity in the workplace, right after our lunch break, when it's time to have an afternoon nap. At first, I would like to say I'm sorry for my English, and even is better than your Bulgarian. I will write because I would like to be sure what I talk about. So, at the workplace, we're always in a two-sided relation. That is between the employee and the employer. Can you tell me why the people work? Why we work? Maybe to accomplish what we dream, or to do good things, or to have social contacts. All that matters. But the truth is that we work for money, for salary, wage. Why does the employer hire us? Because we have good education, or maybe because we have working experience, or maybe because we are honorable. All this is important, of course. But the truth is that they hire us to do a certain job. For every job, there must be wage, salary. And for every payment, there must be a job done. This is the essence of the contract between an employer and an employee. Our job could be connected to many people, but the legal connection of our own contract is only with the employer. We owe them what they have hired us to do with quality and within a certain time frame, and for that they owe us the agreed wage. I brought up my children telling them that in life no one receives what they deserve, but what they have negotiated for. So, what is the etymology of the word corruption? Corruption coming from Latin, corrupto is the word. It means corrupt, pervert, spoil. Corruption is corruption of personality. This is without a doubt. We all know that it perverts morals and the main Christian values. And this is exactly why most Christians think that it doesn't concern us. But doesn't it? We said that the etymology of the word corruption also means to spoil. To spoil the relationship we live with. Corruption can spoil and lead to decay of whole systems. Because the employee isn't just an employee. They are not also an element of a powerful machine. They are the machine. Let's take the most simple example of corruption. A policeman has detected a speeding violation. The driver hands their documents together with $20 or euro in them, so that the policeman doesn't perform his duties assigned to him by law. So, in the moment the policeman receives them, we have a breakthrough in the system. Because in this case, the system doesn't work. Against 20 euro, the whole system has been spoiled and in fact doesn't exist. It's gone, broken. For 20 euro, the system disappears. The one that we have created to act with power that comes from us and has to work for us. But in this case, it works for the two people from the story. Again, we have two sides. We have a service. We also have a payment. But do we have an agreement? It looks like we have all the elements, but there is a main one missing. We don't have the morals. The morals are missing. The ones we have created with our beliefs and understandings. In fact, it's the religious communities that create morals in society. And the law clothes in morality like a gown. This type of agreement that contradicts morals is always and everywhere in the world void. It is nothing legal. Moreover, everywhere in the world, it is a composition of a crime because it harms the system. As I said, it doesn't work for what it was made for, but for those who take advantage of it. There are systems where employees are so corrupt that when a new employee comes in, everyone is fast to make him one of them. If he refuses, if he said no, he turns out to be a foreign body that the organism doesn't accept and just throws away. Have you seen a mediocre employee get a dazzling career? My experience shows that very often such employees are kept for interests that are outside the system. I know of judges and prosecutors who have been led to enter situations to be photographed and then kept and blackmailed. I know of pictures and recordings where you can see them doing things they are not proud of and would never show their children. But those pictures and recordings are used to force them to work for the system, for those that blackmail them. And once they made a compromise, they have moved away from professional integrity. They have become easy prey for blackmail and more jobs that they could never say no to. I know of others that have easily entered into contracts for careers and get serious benefits to do not the things that they have as work duties, but for the things that someone outside the system assigns them to do. For a career or money, they are ready to do anything. Usually people like that are mediocre workers and have weak moral qualities that let them do such compromise. The more tasks they complete, the more they stray away from professional integrity, and the lack of integrity starts being their normal state that they don't even try to hide because they feel secure. They feel protected and stable. What you have to do then? What is the right way out? The truth will set you free. And we know who the truth, the way, and the life is. The only way to exit the webs of corruption is truth. This is the way for the one who is caught in the web, and the sooner, the better for him. And it's also the way for the one who is witnessed corruption or for the insider. In May 2020, just when COVID hit, I received a phone call with a request to take on a case of a businessman that I understood has fled from Bulgaria in April running for his life. During the past 30 years, he has run a successful business for elevator and escalator manufacturing, and he has had 28 offices in countries around the world. I requested him to write to me a short description of what the matter was. And I admit that right from the first page, I thought that this person was crazy. I didn't think it was logical that an active attorney took his company. An attorney, not just attorney, but an attorney who is an ex-long-term investigator and the head of the investigation office in our capital, who was active together with other lawyers, policemen, the brother of the Minister of the Interior, special prosecutors, head of the special prosecutors, and even had relations with the head of the prosecutors. Unlike in other legal professions, as a lawyer could refuse to take on cases, and I did so, thinking that this man had mental problems. Then the person who had asked me to take on this case asked me to just to check the facts. And I agreed to make my research. And the facts started matching the truth. The more I researched it, the more I was shocked of the findings. I provoked with little tricks that only I know to get them admit they were lying or making things up, but everything was adding up. It was all true to the last details. It was not only corruption, but internal mechanisms with names of those involved in the criminal group, their internal relationships and motives. I found out that it's about a long established scheme to use the mechanisms of justice, the prosecution in particular for the seizing of businesses for millions with activities of real estate, lands, buildings, huge monetary amounts, investment gold, and so on. I faced a case of grave corruption that has led to such powerful erosion of the system that I myself could have never imagined. In fact, the employees of the system, prosecutors, investigators, policemen, attorneys, have worked not for those that have created it, the public. They have worked for themselves and for the captor of businesses, and have used all means and authority given to them by law to perform this for private interests. And all this indicates that they have performed such services for politicians. And that's why this scheme has held on for decades. That is when I asked God why He gave this case to me. Why to me? And as I was asking, God showed me what He has led me through. How every challenge that I have passed has been a step that I took towards His guidance. And with every step, He has raised me and prepared me. I said raised, but I understand that raising is coming closer to Him. And with every step, I could see more and from above. I say prepared because equipping and hunting for me has been real. I am a hunter, and in the forest, God has taught me to catch the logic of the natural, and their integrity develops on a primary level. You breathe and you exhale it. I knew that this case was for me, and I already wanted it, though I didn't know how to resolve it yet. I understood that this wasn't a common case, and with common lawyer tools, I wouldn't get anywhere. It was of no use to signal the prosecution services for crime performed in the prosecution services themselves, and where the head prosecutor was obviously involved. Bulgaria has been convicted for a long time by the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg for the fact that it doesn't have a mechanism to control the head prosecutor. It was clear that if I made such a signal, not only they wouldn't start a real investigation, but I myself would put me and my family in danger. There had to be another way, a different way.
High temperatures in Budapest.
That is when God reminded me of the miracle with the 2 fish and 5 loaves. I paid attention to the text and especially to what Jesus says when his ministers told him to let the crowd go because they were hungry. Do you remember? The first thing that Jesus asked was, "What do we have?" In other words, the answer isn't somewhere outside of me. I knew the answer is in what I already have. Because if there is a miracle coming for this case, it will be with what I have. And everything I have is from God. I had lost lots of course. I have a lot. But alongside everything, I had the following. I was the first lawyer to support the anti-corruption fund in Bulgaria. I took part in anti-corruption investigations and analysis. I trained the lawyer team, consulted medias with their own journalistic investigations. And as I know that the light sends away darkness, I saw that the only way was to put the spotlight on this case, because the corrupted act in quiet and darkness. The light makes them feel like cockroaches exposed by the kitchen lamp. They run and hide. So the more light you put on them, the better. This was the start of the movie The 8 Dwarfs, by the name of the restaurant that was something like the headquarters of the main actors. Now, I admit that I don't dare play the story of the 7 dwarfs to my granddaughter, because the first thing that pops up is in the 4 parts of the movie, the 8 dwarfs. So if you are interested, you can find them in internet. Just write the 8 dwarfs in English. They're 50 minutes each and reveal the inside mechanisms of corruption in the system. Even in the first day of publishing the first part, there were more than 1.5 million views. And in the day they uploaded in the translated first part in English, 500,000 views. The publishing took the people out on the street and squares and demanded justice for all. Yesterday, we talked with the Minister of Justice about this, how starting this moving. And now there is an organization with the same name, Justice for All. This film became an occasion for the European Union to demand that Bulgaria reforms its judicial system, and there isn't a report that doesn't include this case. In one of those reports, it was mentioned 28 times in order to point out arguments for urgent changes. So my client was able to return from abroad. I had already made my way into the manufacturing bases and give them back to him. He managed to keep his workers and markets and already manufactures orders for foreign countries. 3 years later, the head prosecutor has been released from duty due to the image, to the prestige of the jurisdiction. Today, we do have a law for it and a working mechanism as well to control the head prosecutor. And I can stop repeating that each person who goes upward or downward from the cabinet of the head prosecutor of Bulgaria should know that they do so in an elevator manufactured by my client. In this way, I actually, this is the truth. I actually remind them of the high integrity that the society expects of this position, as well as that if they don't have integrity, they will descend very quickly. Thank you for your attention.